It's the moment you've all been waiting for. It is officially round table time. Pete Sweeney joining us again, along with our own Neal Jones. So guys, this one's for both of you. Pete, but we're going to start with you. We said earlier that the Chiefs are currently projected as the third most likely team to win the Super Bowl. What do you think about those standings?
I mean, you like that. I think everyone at the beginning of the season wants a chance to win the Super Bowl. You can't ever count out the New England Patriots, and I think the Chiefs are going to have some other AFC contenders this year in both the Cleveland Browns and the Indianapolis Colts. So it should be an interesting road to just get to the Super Bowl to begin with. Again, it's good to be in the mix for sure.
Neal?
Pete, you really believe that Baker Mayfield and those guys can make that big of a jump? I'd be surprised.
I only look at it because now they have Odell Beckham Jr. Don't forget, after 8 games, they get Kareem Hunt. They're loading up, and they went and they had 7 wins last year, so I think they just continue to build upon it. And again, I know that John Dorsey's coming to get back to his old team.
You know, Danny, I don't know the answer. I look at that, and I think it's great that the Chiefs are being picked pretty high, but there have been some really good Chiefs teams that were not picked high. I will say this. I trust Andy Reid. I trust their quarterback, and we'll see what happens on defense. They can't be any worse than they were a year ago.
I mean, that's very true. 24th ranked defense, and that's one of the things that all of these new guys come to the podium and say, hey, we're going to make this defense better. One of the things I said on radio earlier today was that these guys were simply one stop, one shoelace away from going to the Super Bowl. The Chiefs were so close. All you have to do is get a little bit better this offseason, and you're there. They did that on defense. They completely revamped everything. Andy Reid not only getting a new defensive coordinator in there, but also revamping the defensive staff and their players, their personnel. So if you thought that it was a Bob Sutton issue, that's not the only reason. They're making it a personnel thing too. So they have a bunch of new guys in there. Chris Jones said this is a bunch of dogs on defense. So if you can just make one stop, if this defense can just be a little bit better and Patrick Mahomes can still be as good as he was last year, then this team could be Super Bowl bound. So I like those odds a lot. Neal, we're going to come back to you. With the Chiefs rebuilding their defense, like I just mentioned, and the future of Tyreek Hill in the balance, do you think that Patrick Mahomes, the league MVP, can be enough to carry this team?
You know, the thing that worries me, and I'd be curious to hear what you guys think, is that I believe that the entire league, but particularly the AFC and the AFC West, have spent the entire offseason studying what Andy Reid did last year with Patrick Mahomes and all of the changes they made as the season went on. Because, of course, Reid, he adjusts as the season goes on and tweaks it, you know, game by game by game. He shows some stuff every week that's new. You know the coordinators are working on that, and it worries me. We heard it, Dani, at the Combine. John Gruden talked about, hey, you've got to figure out a way to stop them. And I'm afraid that the offense will not put up the numbers they put up a year ago simply because of that.
Pete, can Mahomes live up to it again this year?
My thing is, I always come back to this. Patrick Mahomes is special. To me, I look at him like a Tom Brady figure. I think the only reason we know names like Deion Branch and Julian Edelman and Danny Amendola is because of Tom Brady. So I look at Patrick Mahomes, I say he could do the same thing in Kansas City. He can make Demarcus Robinson the star. Again, they were loaded up last year. It's going to be a little bit different this year, but I think Mahomes will be ready for the challenge.
And I like that Andy Reid pointed out this offseason that Patrick Mahomes and Robinson have a really good connection. You saw it in the preseason. You've seen it during the regular season. There's just something about those two that get along really well and they can connect. So hopefully Demarcus Robinson can have a much better year this year and Patrick Mahomes can be that guy throwing the ball to him. So I think that he can carry the load. I think that he's the league MVP for a reason and he can make things happen. You heard it from defenders on the other side of the ball in most of their games that they played, that they knew that that kid was special. We know he's special and he can carry the load, much like you meant. Or much like you said, Pete, about him being that guy, kind of like a Tom Brady. But real quick, I want to ask both of you guys as we wrap up the show, who was your favorite guy out of the NFL draft that the Chiefs ended up with? Pete, you touched on this a little bit, that you like Thornhill. But Neal, what do you think?
It's got to be Thornhill because I think he's the most important guy they drafted in my mind.
Pete, you still going with Thornhill?
I like Thornhill. Again, the more backflips we can see from Colin Saunders this year, the better.
Yeah, I like me some Saunders. Let's see if we can celebrate a little bit more. Maybe some picks. I do like that pickup for sure. Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. This has been a blast, a great draft for the Chiefs, I think, in 2019. And remember that you can check in anytime on KCTV5.com.